Beautiful peoples, welcome. Welcome to Hood Philosophy, where we're going to talk about and maybe even answer some of life's biggest questions in a way that clicks with people from all walks of life. Hey, so we're talking about the hood cats, we're talking about the single mums, people that are going through addiction, maybe sleeping it rough, the teachers, the mentors, the guides. We're looking to speak to you fellas as well. That's who we're trying to reach. Anybody that doesn't usually listen to a podcast like this, that's who we want to listen. Anyway, my name's Z, and I'd like to give thanks to all you beautiful peoples for taking the time out of your day to watch or listen to this podcast. And I'd also like to give thanks just for the opportunity to send out love to all you fellas and out into this big bad world. I'd just like to start off by saying that I made the same mistake twice, and that's unacceptable for me. Let's check that the mic's on. Mic's on. You know what I did? I just recorded a whole episode again, and the mic was off. I did the check. This time I did the check. I'm not sure what happened. No excuses. I have to be accountable, you know? Let's get stuck in. So a little bit of the feedback that I got from some of you beautiful peoples that maybe the intro is a little bit too long. I I somewhat disagree, but I love receiving rough and raw, honest feedback. You know, that's what I want. If I'm gonna get better, I need to know what I need to do better. And the only way I'm gonna do that is if people tell me what I'm lacking. And I thank you fellas for that. But I do disagree a little bit. I think the intro gives the show character. It gives people a chance to get to know me. So I've gone with a little bit of a compromise, you know. Um, the wife's always asking me to speak on compromise, but that's for another day. The compromise is I'm going to shorten the intro. I'm going to get into the topic a little bit quicker. I'm going to touch on it, and we're going to go back and forth, because I think that's what I do best. And I want to keep you guys captivated as well. You know, like the if you fellas are getting bored, then there's no point in me doing this shit. I'm here to get your attention. You know, take the world by storm. That's why I'm here. I've got a vision. I want to walk in greatness. I want other people to walk with me. Let's walk. Let's walk in greatness. Eh? Okay. So the topic today is, why are we so scared of failure? And I'm the way I'm going to touch on the topic is I'm going to read you guys a quote from a Mr. Albert Hubbard. He's passed away a long time ago now. He was an American writer, philosopher, artist. He was a creative, you know, but he also served in the World War. I'm pretty sure he passed away in the First World War. I should have checked that one. But the quote is, constant effort and frequent mistakes are the stepping stones to genius. Constant effort and frequent mistakes are the stepping stones to genius. And I'll leave you with that. And then moving on, I'd like to shout out the brother Rod. Okay, so Rod works out at the Bayside at Anytime Fitness at a couple locations out there. And the other day, after watching one of the podcasts, it must have clicked with the bro Rod, and we had a chat, and he just showed me love, eh? And it was beautiful because I'll be honest with you, it really made my day that me speaking to you fellas could have that impact. It's awesome to actually feel it, you know. So let me tell you about Rod. Rod's a super communicator, but that's not all he is. So he grew up in Rewa in South Auckland, New Zealand, and he's lived quite a life. I dare say in the future, once we rolling and I'm getting better at what we're doing here, we're gonna get Rod on, and he's gonna speak to how he grew up and what he's been through with life in regards to that, because that's where I want the podcast to go. You know, the podcast is called Hood Philosophy. What's philosophy about? It's about life. It's answering. It's attempting the goal, right? It's attempting to answer some of life's biggest questions. That's what philosophy is, and and I want to get. I want to get hood cats on here. I want to get fellas that grew up in the hood and have and moved on and made something of themselves. You know what I mean? Because it's hard. It's not easy to get out the hood. You know, like quite often, quite often you have to cut people out of your lives, people that you love, people that you hold very, close to your heart, and that speaks to my experience because when I quit the drugs that I was consuming, the only way that I could do that cold turkey was by by cutting everyone because every single person that I knew was connected to that scene, and it was a scene that I couldn't occupy anymore if I wanted to become a better man. I'm not speaking to their experiences. Everything I say is with love and no judgment. Okay, this is one thing that I need. I I, I implore you, fellas, you to understand is that I have no right to judge anybody. No right to judge anybody. I've done things in my life that I can never make up for, and now I live a life of service to others. And I'm blessed in that regard as well because passion, purpose has aligned for me. And when you're from the hood and you can't get out, and it's just a fucking cycle, and it's just on, and every day is the same. Don't get me wrong, it's different and it's exciting, and sometimes it's fun as fuck, but it's tough, man. It's tough. So back to Rod. The reason why I am actually shouting out the bro is I've known Rod for a little while now, since however long I've been training out at Capella Bar. Um, he works at the gym there, super communicator. When Rod's in the gym, the energy is lifted, the vibe is it's more wholesome. He moves around the floor and he's talking to people. He's talking to the people that are probably a little bit scared to be in the gym, and he's making them feel more comfortable. But I was never sure if Rod was my people's or not. He's always shown me mad respect, and yeah, like I, I just wasn't sure if he was my people's, and he's a fellow brown brother, and he's connected to culture and community, and he cares about connection. But again, I wasn't sure if he was a like-minded individual. And then we had that discussion on Monday, and it was just bless, like. So yeah, shout out to you, bro. Much love, you brother for life, eh? That's how we do. When I come across someone who gives fucks and wants to put in, because the bro took the time to show me some videos. He spent some time interviewing some boxers and some rugby players, and that's cool, man. Like I want to learn, and if the people that are watching and listening to this podcast are going to help me learn, that's a podcast. That's something that I can get down on. All right, so now, Gavin, Mr. Gavin, he came up with a fantastic idea. I've been getting feedback from everybody. I've been annoying the shit out of them. Can you please watch this? Let me know what I need to do better. They reckon I don't look too comfortable. I feel pretty comfortable, but especially considering I just recorded a whole episode with the fucking mic off. I made the same mistake again. I'm kicking myself, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's check again. Just to be sure. Um, but Gavin came up with an awesome suggestion. And it's a good way for you fellas to engage and connect with us. He suggested asking a question to get you fellas and get you fellas to answer in the comment section. And I think it's a great idea, because I want you guys to connect with me. I'll touch on I'll touch on the answers in the next episode. I was going to say I'll touch on the answers that speak to me the most in the next episode, but let's keep it real at the start. If I get one or two answers to the question, I'm happy with that, you know? All right. So, what's the question? This is a question that I asked in the Nothing But Love podcast group yesterday. And it was just because I was having fun yesterday, you know, like I just I wanted to learn. So I was asking a few silly questions and a few important questions, but they're questions that get the mind going, you know. So all right, so the question of the day is, which came first? The chicken or the egg? This is for the philosophers and the scientists. Go to battle. Let's see it. Let's see it. Teach me, educate me. I want to know. Chicken or the egg, which came first? Okay, let's get into the topic of the day. The topic of the day is, why are we so scared of failure? Why are we so scared of failure? So, shame. Shame, ego, lack of resilience. I just thought I'd get them three down, and that way okay, the reason for this is I've just recorded a whole podcast, and the mic was off. So I did say to people after I did this the first time that when this happened, I was going to change the topic, and and come back to the topic that I fucked up on another day, but I can't do that today. Okay, I've failed today, and I need to move forward, and I need to work out a better way of sorting this when this happens. So we're gonna jump straight in. Okay, all right. This is me. Okay, so I think this is a beautiful example of someone embracing failure, keeping that growth mindset. The first time round when I did it, I threw my arms up in the air a little bit, and I almost sighed. But then I got over it. You know, like shit happens. Blessing in disguise. Like there was a reason why it didn't go to plan, and maybe it was because I was wearing a raggedy ass t-shirt. But today the t-shirt's all right. You know, it just life happens, eh? And yeah, shame. Let's talk on shame. I think that's going to be the topic for the next episode. Because I think that's the most potent thing when it comes to our fear of failure, is that we're ashamed. We're so scared of trying to do something a little bit difficult that we care about, and shame from internally, so from ourselves, from the people that we love, the people that we work with, the people that we play sports with, the people that we meet up with on the weekends with, the people that we share with. These are the people that we're scared of disappointing, and that's where the shame comes from. and and it's a fucked up cycle, shame, you know, because it's an internal battle. It's heartbreaking because it doesn't have to be that way, but it's easy to sit here and say that, right? Where does that feeling of shame come from? Our ego. And it's not because we want to know it all, because we think we know it all. It's because it hits us here. It hits our ego hard, you know. We didn't want to fuck up. We didn't want to disappoint. We wanted to please that person. We wanted to live up to expectation. uh, you know, and it just didn't pan out that way, so we must be less than. And shame is potent, man. And let me just speak on it for the hood cats. Like, we know what shame feels like, eh? Like, we get shame for all kinds of shit. You know, the clothes that we wear, the music that we listen to. You know, like if you're not listening to the the beats on the street for that day, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? Cuz why are you listening to that shit for? Like, I listen to a little bit of country, and I know there's some hood cats out there who can give me a bit of shit for that, but I don't care because I got no shame. You know? Oh no, no, no. Let's keep it real. Everybody's conscious of something, because we are the stories that we create in our heads, right? And that's what the shame is, and that's what the fear of failure is. And so, how did we create that story in our heads? Like, why is it that this is what we why is it that this is how we perceive failure and making mistakes? We're going to go all the way back to when we were young fellas. who who are the most formative figures in our lives when we're young fellas? So it's our parents, our guardians, our caregivers. Some of you fellas, I know that you might have grew up with no parents. You might have, auntie and uncle might have raised you, or you live with the grandparents, or maybe you even grew up in the foster care system. Um, yeah, who? So it's the parents, guardians, your foster carers, whoever, the single mums. The that's who help us create the stories that impact every single day of our lives, that we carry on for the rest of our lives until we take the the active steps of changing them stories and flipping the script, because that's what this is about. And so this is going to be another part 2 series, and the second episode of the part 2 series is going to be about flipping the script. How do we turn failure into success? How do we tell, like, how do we embrace a growth mindset? How do we say, like, okay, so we go from I can't to I'll try to I can to I will to I have to. How do we do that? That's flipping the script. Okay, so back to and that'll be in the second episode. All right. Um, how do how did we create them stories? So our parents, our guardians, and our the caregivers, right? Okay, so what do kids do? They do what they see, you know, and they internalize everything that they see, because that's how we learn, um, by experience and by our environments. That's the only way. All right, okay, so say for example you come home and you didn't get the grade that mum or dad wanted, and they make you feel like shit. And for some of for the other fellas, you get a hiding because you didn't get the grade, or you get a hiding because you forgot to pick up the milk from home. You get a like, or you get told that you're useless because you couldn't do something that they expected you to do, or that they make you feel like a piece of shit because you didn't live up to their expectation. That's and what does that breed? Lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, a fear of failure, how do you think you're gonna try attempting hard things when the most formative years of your life you were told that you couldn't do things. You were told that you were shit because you didn't get it done. Of course, we're going to be scared of failure. Like, you compare that to the people who have embraced failure and achieved success in their lives. You know why, how they got to that place. They had someone in their corner. It meant that when they failed or when they made a mistake, that person who was in their corner told them that it was okay to make a mistake and to move forward, but make sure that you learn from that mistake. Make sure that you can apply that practically, because that's the message. Is is failure is powerful if we can turn it into that, if we can flip the script. So I am going to use my notepad today because I have recorded a whole episode with no sound, and I think I'm doing a fucking great job, considering I spent 30 minutes talking about failure, and I've jumped in, and I know I dragged on at the start a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay, because I believe I'm getting better. I'm getting better looking at the camera. Uh, I'm in Tim's chair, so it's not my chair. So how am I going to be comfortable? It's like, you know, but it's a comfy chair. But I think that's also what it's used to. Um, I like to I like to stand up and talk too. I think that's got something to do with it as well. All right, who? Okay, so back to what I was saying. Who are the other formative people in our lives when we're young fellas? Where are we at? So we're we might be playing footy. We're at school. We've got jobs. Obviously, when we were of age. Okay, so I'm talking to the teachers, I'm talking to the coaches, I'm talking to the people that believe that they are mentors, guides, and leaders. That's who. And I'm speaking directly to you as a mentor, as a guide, and as a leader. We must understand the impact that we are having on people's lives. If we want to help and not hinder, we need to understand that when we react to somebody that we are helping and they make a mistake, and we get frustrated or we get angry and we show our impatience, we are hurting. We are having an impact that is going to last a lifetime. Every single day we need to do hard things, and part of that is making mistakes, because that's how we learn. And if you are a teacher, a mentor, or a guide, or a coach, then I know you're with me. And if you disagree with me, why are you doing what you're doing? You know, the goal is, if we're going to lift up the people that come after us, is we have to help them. This is a cycle that we want to break, because like it's a big responsibility lifting up the next generation, because that's where the greatness lies, is imparting that and sharing that knowledge and that wisdom and helping people. Yeah, and not just young people. This is for everybody, especially this podcast, to apply the wisdom and knowledge that I've acquired over the years from life experience, from professional experience, and share that in a way that people can apply practically in their lives, especially the hood cats. Because I used to be a shit cunt, and I used to run away from doing the hard things and failure, and anything scary. See you later, cuz. Like I don't want none of that. I didn't want none of that. I didn't. But I flipped the script. I flipped the script. And on the next episode, we're going to talk about how we do that, how we turn the I can't into I have to. And it seems like there's so much. Sorry, missing in the middle. I had to check the mic. I'm going to check the mic all the time now. I have to. I got no choice. It's just, it has to be done. I don't want to make that mistake again. Okay, so something out of the pocket. My apologies. So, why else are we scared of failure? Does society help? I don't think society helps. Popular culture, like in regards to self-development and like all this motivational speaking and like this, longevity and all this stuff, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's in popular culture, and like the people who can afford to do this shit are doing this shit. But what about the people that can't afford it? Like when you're in the hood and you don't got much, and you working your ass off just to make ends meet, you know popular culture ain't, you don't got time for popular culture. So yes, I think, in regards to society, popular culture is starting to catch up in regards to how we should approach failure, and embracing our mistakes and the like. Yes, but for the lucky, for the privileged, keep it real. Let's keep it real. you know that's who's listening to most of these podcasts. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to reach you fellas, but if I click with one of you fellas, then that's beautiful. Because I believe in a love that transcends love. You know, I'm sending love to every human being out into this big bad world. I know I've gone off on a tangent back to society. Okay, so you think about all the people. Let me have a drink. That was a good drink. So you think about all the people that make decisions in your life that have an impact, right? Okay, so like your bosses, your colleagues, your friends, your loved ones, everybody. You got to ask yourself, how do they react when I make a mistake? Do they make me feel less than? Because that's quite often what I see in my travels. You know, I'm interacting with lots of people. I'm watching lots of people. I see lots of support workers. I see lots of teachers. I see lots of exercise physiologists with their clients, and quite often I see people getting impatient. I see people getting frustrated, and they don't understand the impact of their actions. It's no different to the mentors and the guides and the coaches, all these people, and I guess that wraps up society as a whole, right? But yeah, I'll just have a look at my notebook. I haven't actually had to look at it that much, eh? Pardon me. It's also overwhelming, right? Like like the sense of failure. Like that's why it makes us feel anxious. That's why we it makes us fearful. It's because it's overwhelming our brains and our bodies, and and there's reason for that. It's because of the stories that we've created in our head, and that's why I'm going to keep banging on about we need to flip the script, and we need to embrace a growth mindset, and turn I can't and into I'll try to, I can, to I want to I have to, you know. And and for me, I think that's very powerful. So we're starting to come to the end of the episode. I I haven't quite finished in regards to no, no. I think let's stay on time. I have finished in regards to why. I think I've touched on why we're scared of failure. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about how we flip the script, why we should flip the script, why is failure powerful, why should we embrace our mistakes. Well, these are the questions we're going to ask. I thank you for bearing with me. I think I've done a very, very good job. I'm gonna finish with some quotes from successful people about failure, because I think that's a beautiful way to lead into the next episode if we are going to talk about flipping the script and transforming the story that we've created in our head, and and learning to walk head on into that scary abyss, you know, because that's what we want to do. All right, so I'll read out these quotes for you. I think a lot of them are. I'll be honest with you, they're beautiful. Eh? Where are we? Here we go. Michael Jordan. We're going to start for all the ballers out there. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. That's powerful, man. Repetition. Oprah Winfrey. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. Greatness. Oof. Join me. Let's walk in greatness. Steve Jobs. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. Keep that faith. J.K. Rowling, for all the Harry Potter fans out there, I read every Harry Potter book. I got no shame when it comes to my reading. Thank you very much. Don't throw shade. Books make us smarter. Ooh. Failure meant a stripping away of the inessential. I was set free. Because my greatest fear had been realized, and I was still alive. All right, we're just going to take a 30-second break, okay? I'll see you fellas soon. Okay, welcome back to Hood Philosophy. Thanks for taking the time. All right, so I'll just repeat J.K. Rowling's quote on failure. Failure meant a stripping away of the inessential. I was set free because my greatest fear had been realized and I was still alive. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is actually my favorite actor. My favorite movie with Denzel Washington in it is John Q. If you fellas haven't seen it, poo-wee. Okay. Full forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. Thomas Edison. Oy, the esteemed Thomas Edison. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Elon Musk for all you fellas, eh? Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovative enough. Beyonce, the reality is sometimes you lose and you're never too good to lose. You're never too big to lose. You're never too smart to lose. It happens. And it's going to keep happening over and over and over and over. And that's the point of all this, is we fail every single day. We make mistakes every single day, but we got to keep moving forward. Walt Disney, Mr. Walt Disney. I think it's important to have a good hard failure when you're young because it makes you kind of aware what can happen to you. He speaks to that life experience, right? That like that building resilience and and even just being a little bit prepared when when we run head on into failure. Jeff Bezos, not the biggest fan of Jeff Bezos, but definitely a very successful fella. Eh? I've made billions of dollars of failures at Amazon. None of those mistakes mattered because we had one big success, Alexa. There you go. All right, so Mr. Winston Churchill, let's keep it real. He's done some great shit and he's done some terrible shit. We just gotta, yeah. I think sometimes we like to distort history in a way that suits us. And on this show, fuck that. This is a quote from someone that I look up to, Maya Angelou. So she's a writer and a poet and an activist, and the way she writes, she talks straight to here. She hits you. So like, and that's why I look up to her because you, I dare say you just can tell from the way that I speak. I like to hit you where you feel it. You know, in a way that makes you think. Okay, so her quote is, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. You must not be defeated. Failure will come and go, but you must not be defeated." That's my little spin on that one. If you've never read any Maya Angelou or even listened to Maya Angelou, I beg you fellas, I implore you fellas, get out there, jump on the net, read some of her poetry. It speaks to everybody. It speaks from people from all walks of life. That's another reason that I look up to her, is she can articulate herself in a way that clicks with everybody. And for me, that's powerful. All right, let's wrap this shit up. You know how we wrap this up, eh? I'm gonna change it up today. Okay. I am humble for today. I am blessed for today. I am grounded for today. I'd just like to give thanks to all you beautiful peoples out there. Thank you for taking the time to watch or listen to Hood Philosophy. I trust there's something that you can take away from today's episode. I dare say that there is. Big love to all you fellas out there. As usual, we're going to finish with a poem. I just got to bring it up. I probably should have already had that done. So this is a poem that I wrote after reading the book "Ego Is Our Enemy" by Ryan Holiday, who has a podcast called Daily Stoic. I believe I'm a Stoic, so he clicks with me constantly. Eh? He's written so many books; it's insane. Ego is the enemy. Enlightenment is the destiny. It's not something you stumble on accidentally. It takes work, it's a mode of being, it's woven into our identity. Feel the serenity. Don't get it twisted. It's a lifelong journey. We go too hard, we go too fast. It's why bad habits stick and the good ones never last. It's almost like everything is a race, trying to one up the ones we love. Money, power, fame, we just want to taste. I'm pretty sure that's why we do so much in haste. What a waste. Don't forget, ego is your enemy. Enlightenment is the destiny. Don't let one mode of being frame your identity. It's not about you. It's not about me. Let's walk together and create a we. And in time, you'll see it's connection, community, a love that transcends, a love that sets us free. It's the way we talk, it's the way we walk. Love is a currency. Do good, be good. It will always come back. It has to. Don't let your pride get in the way of living a good time. Let go of the anger and the spite, and life will be sublime. For ego is your enemy. Don't let it become your identity. Beautiful peoples, I thank you again. Everybody, blessed day. Cheers. Peace.